Tonight, Matt can't believe Native Americans carved rocks.
If you believe that, you are gullible, period.
I wear an unknown hat.
You know, I'm not even going to be able to see what you've got me until we finish recording this now.
And Steve gets the beard he's always wanted.
I finally have a beard.
Why hello my fellow apes, I hope you are well. This is the third episode of LowFruit, and as I revealed in a recent community post, you're going to be getting at least one of these videos per month for the rest of the year. So
yeah, and on that, you, right there in the comments, because I can see you starting to type it, I know what you're thinking. I shouldn't be here and Steve needs to get back to his intellectual stuff.
I'm going to do that too.
They're still coming, so stop it, and instead join us in some Christmas spirit. Because, well, speaking of spirits, I've brought some Welsh cream whiskey along.
The Welsh are not just brilliant for castles, they've also got whiskey.
No, they've also got some pretty good whiskey.
Liqueur. Yes.
And here's the one that I poured earlier.
That had nothing to do with having to re-record this segment.
No.
Absolutely nothing. Now, talking off Christmas.
Yes.
Do you want a hat?
Oh, I'd love a Christmas
You look
hat.
like the kind of guy that would like a hat. Okay, now I recently went to Texas, okay, and near Texas there's a place called Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, we'll let you be a Mexican Santa.
You know, I'm not even going to be able to see what you've got me until we finish recording this now.
Mexican
okay.
Santa. There we go. Good.
Well, I'm glad you've got me whatever you've got me that I can't actually see.
Yep.
Because I know you've been trying to get this whole Viking look going for quite a long time.
I have no idea what you're on about.
So, what I've got you...
Oh. Let's go. Let's go. I finally have a beard.
Now you've got that
Right,
beard you've always wanted. That's it, there you go.
Okay, cool.
Although I can see one problem already, actually.
What?
I mean, if you tried to drink now, you make a mess of your new beard.
Your fault.
So,
well, I just want to say we've now got a thumbnail.
We definitely got our thumbnail.
I'll get the mic out of the way. Right, okay. Matt Powell.
Right, moving on with... You've already given it away.
Mate, they're going to know from the thumbnail. I'm putting them in
the thumbnail. They're going to know from the thumbnail. Yeah. All right. Well, we had planned to respond to one of his other videos. And then we sort of saw this one. And once we had stopped laughing at the title, we knew we had to cover it.
You're in for an absolute treat. Okay.
Yeah.
This video is so good, that he's loved his own comment. Twice. You're in for a treat.
So... here is Matt Powell with 10 proofs dinosaurs lived recently. The lethal video against dino to bird evolution.
Carbon-14 dating is a way of determining the age of...
So, carbon-14 dating already.
Mm-hmm.
And I know exactly what he's going to say next, because it's Matt Powell. He's going to say, oh, it's accurate to 50,000 years, and we found it in dinosaur bones. How does this happen?
It's just like when Ray Comfort goes, I believe in God for the same reason I believe in gravity. You just instantly know. You know what's going to happen.
You know what's coming next. But it's really frustrating because he either doesn't know or ignores the fact that there are other radiometric dating methods.
Oh, yeah.
So, let's see if I'm right.
Carbon-14 dating is a way of determining the age of...
Sorry, I'm sorry, but... this is a video from Matt Powell.
Featuring Matt Powell.
Featuring Matt Powell. So, I'm sorry, but that's funny. Okay, all right. We go again.
Carbon-14 dating is a way of determining the age of certain archaeological artifacts of a biological origin up to about 50,000 years old. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask the question, why is it then that we find carbon-14 inside of dinosaur bones that are supposedly 65 million years old?
Nailed it.
Yeah, you called it.
Absolutely nailed it.
Absolutely called it.
Why do we find carbon-14 in dinosaur bones supposedly millions of years old? Well, I can think of a question to ask first. Did they? And then secondly, well, there could be any number of reasons. I mean, one that comes to mind immediately.
Just don't drop them. Let's see what he's got.
He's got nothing.
No, well, maybe. It's Christmas special. Okay, maybe he's got something. Let's hear him.
I would like an answer to that. People say dinosaurs died out 65 million years ago. Really? There's C14 inside the bones. According to this article, which is a scientific paper, it says that carbon-14 only lasts 50,000 years in any organism that it dies in.
All right, so I'm going to find the article, but I'm also going to take this off. This is way too hot.
What do you mean taking it off? I paid money for that bit.
It's entirely for the audience, but it buffers too much on the mic. That's what it is.
You've got a good excuse going there.
I got to go. Okay, so I found the article, and first of all, it is an article, not a paper.
Not a scientific paper.
Not a scientific paper. Okay. Secondly, it doesn't make any reference whatsoever to carbon-14 being found in dinosaur bones. In fact, not only does it not make any claims about it being in dinosaur bones, the articles make no reference to dinosaurs at all. And also, none of the images that Matt has on screen are from the article. Great start, dude.
There is something good though. Something the article does say. It does say that carbon-14 is only used for testing material known to be younger than 50,000 years. And then it talks about other methods of radiometric dating used for older samples. So, yeah, like you said, we're off to a great start.
Absolutely great start.
And soft tissue. We find soft tissue in all of these dinosaur bones. Blood cells with hemoglobin in the blood.
Okay. He's moving on already.
That was the entirety of his first proof.
That's all he's got for his first proof. But he might be done with it. I'm not.
No.
I want to talk a bit more about the whole carbon-14 dating thing first. Yeah. So, why could there have been carbon-14 on the samples they took? Well, contamination is quite a huge issue. There's a case where some creationists, and I'm pretty sure this is who he's citing.
Probably.
Where some creationists attempted to date a Triceratops bone, but the area they retrieved it from was highly contaminated with carbon. So,
I mean,
mixing of the sample.
The thing that gets me is that's like pulling out some bread from the sea, and then going, "Oh, it's wet."
It's wet and it's salty.
Yeah, I guess bread's made of wet and salt.
Wet, made of wet. We're leaving that one in.
Right.
Well,
I blame the whiskey.
While we're on these great analogies, there's a good video from John Perry explaining why just trying to use carbon-14 is a big mistake.
So
let's play that one.
This is a doozy. This is for you, John.
Using carbon dating alone to try and estimate the age of a dinosaur bone is like using an analog clock to estimate how many years you've been in a coma. Let's see. I hit my head. I went to the hospital. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I went into a coma. I woke up. Now I look at my clock and it says that it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The doctor says I've been in a coma for 7 years, but I know he's wrong. I've only been in a coma for 2 hours.
Thanks, John. And as you can see, by using the wrong method, you're going to get a result. It's not going to be accurate.
No, it is not. And as you were saying earlier on, there are multiple ways of using radiometric dating, right? And the standard practice is that you use multiple ways or multiple methods so that you can triangulate. One of the reasons you might want to do this is that it will show signs of contamination, should there be any.
Yeah, because if you're using, say, 3 different isotopes, and 2 of them are giving you one result and one's giving you a totally different result, well, you know something has got to be wrong with that sample.
Yes.
But if you never bother to use a method of testing that is capable of going beyond 50,000 years, then you're never going to get an answer that says more than that, are you?
No, you are not. Now, just before we move on to Matt's second proof, I am wondering, are you convinced so far? Did that first one get you over the hurdle? Are you now convinced that we lived among dinosaurs?
He just said that there's carbon-14 in bones.
Yes.
Cool. Just saying that isn't enough.
But the fact that he gave no references, didn't that convince you?
Nope.
What about the fact that he was very confident?
It convinces some.
Okay. All right, that will do. Second proof. Let's go.
Yes. And soft tissue. We find soft tissue in all of these dinosaur bones. Blood cells with hemoglobin in the blood. But it lasted millions of years.
Okay, sorry. The audience member just said "and soft tissues," and now he's added it as his second proof.
The audience member. I didn't hear the audience member.
Yeah. The audience member said "and soft tissues."
Yes. And soft tissue.
And now that's his second proof. Just like that, he's added a second proof.
Well, he gave us nothing for proof 1, which is one that he obviously prepped himself.
Yes.
So if he's going with the audience for proof 2, I'm reckoning it's going to be over in about 25 seconds from now.
I believe in Matt. I think he can do better. He's going to do us good. 30 seconds.
Wait, no, you can't go for such a close bet. Come on, that ain't fair.
No. It's about a 20% difference. All right. No, listen, Matt's gonna do me proud, all right? He's gonna take at least 30 seconds.
What happens
with
if
this
it's
new
only
proof.
27 seconds?
I don't want to talk about it. Oh, 27, okay. That's a win for me.
No.
But it lasted millions of years. Anybody that believes that is gullible.
Or scientifically informed. But carry on.
You're a gullible person if you believe that. Okay, does anybody in here remotely think that that's even possible for a soft tissue to last 65 million years?
That's just an argument from incredulity.
Yeah, I mean, does anyone think this
Yeah.
is possible?
Also, notice that he's not asking a committee of scientists. He's asking a committee, a room full of creationists.
Yeah, and just simply asking that question
Yeah.
isn't a proof. Remember, this is meant to be proof of
Yeah.
this. You can't claim your lack of understanding is evidence you're right. Which is what he's just trying to do.
Well, Matt has done this many times before, to the point that I think that we could have an incredulity counter. Because
Ooh.
he loves them.
Oh, I think we should go for it. Do it. And that's one.
Bring it up. That's one.
And here's how they answer that. Well, you see, it's about it was contaminated.
No, Matt, that's our response to your carbon dating argument, you absolute sandwich.
Also, how do you accidentally contaminate something with strips of flesh?
You just rip your whole arm open on a phone.
Right.
And also, hang on, straw man.
Yes.
Nobody said that.
We need a straw man counter as well.
Yeah.
Because you know that he's going to do that a lot. He is horrendous for this.
We'll get that on the table as well.
Yeah.
So now we've
Right.
got an incredulity counter and a straw man counter.
Okay. And also, we need noise effects.
What are you thinking?
And here's how they answer that. Well, you see, it's about it was contaminated. What happens if you contaminate blood? It deteriorates worse.
Yes! 21 seconds. I win. I won that one.
You won the battle.
I'll have another game for that.
You've won the battle, but we're all losing the war. Because people like Matt exist and say these kind of things in this amount of time.
Sure, but I did win the battle.
Fine.
Cool.
Fine.
Well, before we move on to his next argument, he is showing a picture there of soft tissue that was found in a T-Rex bone.
Mm.
But this bone was found in a set of rock layers that was dated between 145 million years old and 66 million years old. So the fact that it's found in that sort of layering means, well, it's very unlikely that the bone's going to be any younger than that.
Yeah, what's really interesting is that no, we didn't say that it's contaminated flesh, but rather that it is indeed dinosaur tissue.
Yeah.
And so what was discovered was a natural but rare preservation process involving iron cross-linking.
Yeah, and this process is very, very similar to the cross-linking processes we use with formaldehyde and when turning hide into leather.
Yeah, and if you want more on this, highly recommend that you check out another piece of John Perry Stated Clearly's work. Wonderful stuff. Link in the description. It's on screen, all over the place. Click it.
He deals with this pretty much exclusively in this video.
Yes, he deals with the tissue that was found with the Triceratops.
What happens if you contaminate blood? It deteriorates worse.
Wait, when you contaminate blood, it deteriorates worse.
I almost missed that. Deteriorates worse. What does that even mean?
I'm gonna hang on. Let's Google this because this is the advice he gave us last time.
Yeah.
It means it becomes progressively worse.
Yeah, that's deteriorate.
Worse.
Yeah, so deteriorates worse.
Yes.
So with the double negative there, does that mean if you contaminate blood that it gets better?
Yes, that is indeed the accurate interpretation of what's being stated. What
They go with the spirit of what he said, though, which is that blood gets worse. Now, what do you mean, Matt?
Yeah, what do you mean? What does it mean to say that blood gets worse? Now, remember that this is his proof that dinosaurs existed recently.
Proof.
Yeah.
If you contaminate blood, it deteriorates worse. Evolution debunked.
I'm having another drink.
What happens if you contaminate blood? It deteriorates worse. It was contaminated. Do you know what a stupid argument that is?
Matt, that's probably why no one said that.
Yeah.
We're just over a minute, and you're on your second straw man. Good job.
I wonder if he'll have more straw man fallacies than he will proofs.
Ooh.
Can we just both bet yes on this, please?
All right.
Okay, good.
But what about more incredulity?
Yeah, I reckon I have more incredulity. He does it a lot.
Okay.
You in?
Yeah.
All right.
Probably.
He's
I
going
reckon
to
he's got to do at least 10 times. He's
10,
got 10 proofs.
10
one
on
per
each.
proof.
10 on each. Yeah.
Oh, but it was fossil. The blood was fossilized. Wait a minute. You say a fossil takes 10,000 years to form. Is blood going to sit there in the ground for 10,000 years, waiting to be fossilized?
For fuck's sake. It doesn't just sit there on the floor.
No, it doesn't. But, sorry. What we're seeing at the moment is that proof 3 is just an extension of proof 2. It's the exact same argument. And he's even kept the same source on screen for us.
Yes.
So we'll just refer you back to what we were arguing with proof 2.
Screw it. I'm going to add something extra, okay? And that is that in order for something to be fossilized, it needs to be buried rapidly. That's a crucial part of the process. It doesn't just sit there.
It doesn't?
No. Okay.
Oh.
Here is a dead animal, okay? All right?
Yep.
And we're in the Jurassic. 2 dinosaurs. Oh, there's a bit of food there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just leave it. I won't eat it. You won't eat it.
But if we leave it there, it'll deteriorate worse.
It will.
Hang on.
Oh, yeah. It's going
to help it deteriorate worse.
Help it deteriorate worse. Yeah, that's true. Make it deteriorate worse. Now, let it deteriorate worse over millions of years. Okay, you and I don't eat it.
Right.
And all of the future children that we have, all predators, we'll make sure all predators don't eat it, so that in millions and millions of years' time, it would have contaminated so much worse that it can be used right now as...
It would have fossilized, just sat there in the open.
Where does he get this information from?
I don't know. Moving on.
They say, well, it's the method of the fossilization of the bone. The iron in the blood, then.
Oh. Yes, Matt. Actually, iron in the blood is the key here. We know that it can cause the cross-linking preservation process.
Yep.
In fact, if he were to check out Mary Schweitzer, the person whose images he's got on screen, his source of this, I suppose.
And arrogantly dismissing.
Yeah, so the person that he's referencing, if he checked out her work, he'd realise that she discovered this iron preservation process in the dinosaur bones.
Yeah, or, again, if you prefer a video format, watch John Perry's video. It's really, really good. It explains Mary's work. It's well worth checking out. And the source that debunks your argument being on screen...
Yeah, I'm amazed.
As we're seeing here, that needs a name. That needs it, like, everyone watching, that needs a name. When someone... I mean...
Their proof debunks their own argument.
Yeah, that needs a name. I'm just saying. You give us a name, I'll make a debunked card.
You peeled it.
Okay, great. Do you see organisms getting encapsulated by iron when they die in nature?
No, because nobody says that they get encapsulated in iron.
Read the paper.
They say, well, if we put iron or blood in iron, it preserves the cells. That must have been how it lasted.
That is, again, not what they say.
And again, read the paper.
This was found nowhere near iron deposits. This was not found near iron.
Yeah, there's iron in blood, remember, Matt? You actually said it yourself less than 15 seconds ago.
It's astonishing.
And yes, even if you put dinosaur soft tissue in an airtight jar, and then put that airtight jar in another airtight jar and another airtight jar, it's going to deteriorate. I don't care if it's airtight. It's going to deteriorate.
Which is why we didn't discover a fully formed T-Rex.
Nor was it in an airtight jar.
Anybody that says that dinosaur soft tissue could last 65 million years, they are out of their mind. They are gullible people, period. And if you vouch for that, you are a gullible person.
Matt, you do not get to call other people gullible.
Matt believes, talking of gullibility, that humans used to live up to 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
Right? He believes that a man survived within a whale. And he wants to lecture us on gullibility. Okay, so what we have here is the incarnation of the Dunning-Kruger effect as he projects his incredulity. Yeah. That's another point. Okay,
another point. Right. Have that one.
And he projects it as gullibility on other people's part.
Yeah. Say, well, that's not enough evidence. I need cross-examined evidence. You need to be able to cross-examine.
Yes, Matt, but we do want to cross-examine evidence because, we'd like to try and expose weaknesses, see, if they exist. We want to try checking multiple methods, to triangulate our dates, just in case. Maybe, just maybe, something isn't right.
Yes, and that's especially the case if it happens to contradict well-established evidence.
Oh, yeah, that would be good, isn't it? If you've got something that goes against the normal sort of scientific opinion.
Overturns centuries of evidence.
Yeah, you might want to check it more than once.
Maybe use something. A contamination should be something that comes to mind. Maybe there's something wrong with the methodology. Not just straight up Bible's true.
No, in fact, actually, going back to the whole aircraft technician thing that we've talked about before, one of the sort of things we've always been taught when I was an apprentice was measure twice, cut once. Because if you cut before you've measured it and double checked your measurement, you might fuck it up.
Yeah.
There you go, Matt.
That does make sense. Now, the other thing I want to point out at this point is it's simply that notice how arrogant he is in his presentation.
He's very confident about what
he's
saying.
Very confident, very condescending, and I actually feel a little bit bad, slapping someone around like we're doing, but he is an exception. This is an exceptionally arrogant young man.
It's kind of what LowFruit's for, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. All right, let's go for it.
Let's get on with it.
What about the dinosaur tracks that are 65 million years old in the old time strata? Oh, really? Is it just a coincidence?
Oh, he is moving on to the next proof.
Yeah.
All right.
And look at that picture as well. Man track and dino tracks. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what he's going to give us for this.
How sharp are the toes? Look at... That's some sharp toes.
That we find man tracks with dinosaur tracks in these layers that you say are 65 million years old. I was in a debate with Dr. Kenny Rhodes from Reasons to Believe, and I brought this up to him, right?
I mean, did you show him this photo?
Yeah, what do you mean by you brought this up to him?
Yeah, but where did he get this photo from? There's no references. There's nothing to be able to track this. Maybe searching it through Google Images, but we shouldn't have to be doing this. You should be presenting references.
On his other image, he actually had the name of the person who had taken the photo.
maybe it will turn
and
out.
The article.
Yeah, maybe it will turn out that he'd be doing that fallacy again, or whatever it is, where he'd debunk himself with it, and that's why he removed it.
He actually remembered to remove this. Or maybe this was made by Mantrack.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Well, obviously, we have no idea.
That's true, it could be.
We have no idea what this photo is. But I will say, Matt is the man who saw a photo of people in Civil War uniforms holding a pterodactyl, and he thought that it was real rather than a TV promotional.
No, he did not.
Yeah, didn't you know that one? He thought it was real.
No, he didn't.
No,
we can't take...
No, he's actually... It's in a video.
That's
it's
not
in a video.
true. That's not true.
I want to find
That's
it for you.
not true.
I believe if we study history, the Confederates were able to shoot pterodactyls, back in the Civil War, and they spread these things out. Anybody can look it up online. And he looked at me, he goes, well, even though it looks like a man footprint, and anatomically it may be the same, how do you know there wasn't a creature that looked just like a man? Talk about believing things without evidence. It is unbelievable what unbelievers will believe to remain unbelievers. Unbelievable.
Okay, so he's dealt with one potential.
What do you mean dealt with? He hasn't dealt with anything.
All right, fine.
He's not dealt with a damn thing.
He's proposed one potential natural explanation,
yes,
right? And he's dismissed it with his incredulity.
Yeah, that's precisely what he's done. He doesn't understand it, so off it goes.
All right.
And don't get angry at me over that.
Oh, Matt, I am not angry at all. This has been tons of fun. I'm actually really enjoying myself here.
I actually genuinely feel bad for him.
Oh, do you?
Well, put aside the fact that he's incredibly arrogant, okay, and that he's incredibly condescending, and that he doesn't seem to be able to read, right? Put these things aside.
That's something I'd feel bad about.
But this is, it's either deliberate, and in which case, all right, you deserve people taking the mick out of you, or he's had bad influences in his life, and he's got a bad roll of the dice. He just has no critical thinking capacity.
Well, his role model is Kent Hovind, so
yes, which is objectively one of the worst role models you could possibly have.
So that is doing bad for him. But at the same time, I really do think Matt knows what he's doing. Like what he did to your video, what they did to your video on evolution.
Oh yeah, if Matt was involved in the editing of that, and there is decent evidence considering some of his other videos that he probably was, then yeah, he's pond scum.
Don't get angry at me for telling you the facts, for telling you the truth that you should have heard when you went to school and learned that the universe popped into existence by nothing with no God.
Matt, come on. Nobody learns that. No one.
Read the textbooks.
Yeah, but I can't.
Read
Why
them.
did you say that? No one says that at all.
And the straw man, right? I'm sick of this from theists. Stating confidently again, like Frank Turek, right? Well done, you've embodied that, or Kent Hovind, right?
Well, we all come from a dot of nothing.
Yeah, all of this, yeah, we're just flesh machines. Look, the claim that the Big Bang is the beginning of everything, and like making out as if science has went, oh yeah, the totality of everything began at the Big Bang, is just grossly ignorant of the literature. Like, really gross. It doesn't say that.
No, all it does say is the Big Bang is pretty much as far back as we've been able to observe.
Yes. And furthermore, if he's upset with things coming from nothing, where does he think God came from? Is he going to say that God's
always been?
Fine, then the universe has always been.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, and you make less assumptions, so you commit yourself to less ontology.
Yeah.
And you get the same explanatory value or more.
Folks, the public school system is completely absurd what they're teaching. Monkey surfing.
What school teaches monkey surfing?
I know it's a straw man. I know it's a straw man, but I don't know where he's getting it from.
No.
That has to be a straw. Monkey surfing, that's what they teach. Oh, what are you doing in between biology and history? Monkey surfing?
Folks, the public school system is completely absurd what they're teaching. Monkey surfing. Dinosaurs farting to death.
Dinosaurs farting to death. Schools are teaching dinosaurs farting to death. What school did you go to?
Such a straight face. This is the best Christmas present, I swear. Monkey surfing. Dinosaurs.
Farting. Who was your science teacher, man?
Get over it.
Folks, the public school system is completely absurd what they're teaching. Monkey surfing. Dinosaurs farting to death. Squids and octopi coming from outer space.
Oh my god, it's the squid and the octopi again. I put this on.
That is true.
I put this one on specifically because it was a Matt Powell video we're doing.
It's just for you, Matt. Enjoy.
He is right about one thing though.
What's that?
If the public school system in America is teaching this, you know, dinosaurs farting themselves to death,
surfing monkeys, then it really would be absurd what they're teaching. Okay, on the grand scale of things, it would be just below creationism.
Look, the rescue devices are weak, and you always need to point that out. If you're in a debate with them, point it out. It's a very weak argument.
Matt, speaking of weak arguments, you gave nothing at all for this as a proof. You had a photo on the screen,
yeah,
and a whole lot of you going, "What? How? You're stupid. What?"
Yeah, just like
No!
incredulity, insults, and a picture with no reference on the screen. They definitely didn't teach that in science.
In Kent Hovind's class,
oh,
they did.
Yes, they did. Yes, in Kent Hovind's, that's absolutely fine. Sure, he got a master's.
Be respectful.
So, Matt says to be respectful, but has he actually been so at any point in this video yet? And don't get me wrong, we've not exactly been respectful to him, but...
Like he deserves it.
Right,
this is the most arrogant dismissal attitude I've ever seen.
Well, here's the thing, funny enough, despite how we have been here, I actually would still say we're more respectful than he is.
Oh, most certainly, right? And like the first step of respect is actually knowing your opposition's arguments, presenting them accurately, not engaging in just incessant straw man.
Yeah, so what we're doing here by presenting his argument to you so that you can see it and then responding to it is a far more respectful approach than what he's doing, which is making up his opponent's arguments on the spot.
Yeah, and again, Matt, since you evidently haven't done this since our last video, you should look up the paper on squid and octopi that you keep referencing, because it simply does not say what you keep insisting that it says. Like, for me, I'd get embarrassed by the fact that I'm getting that wrong, and it would force me to go and look over it again and fix my approach, fix my attitude.
Yep.
Do you lack that capacity? Do you lack that humility? Go check out the paper and stop repeating this utter nonsense.
In fact, go check out that paper, then go check out Mary Schweitzer's paper.
Yeah, read the papers that you put on screen.
Yeah, read the papers you put on screen, basically.
But just point out it's a weak argument. And in some cases, we find footprints on top of the dinosaur footprint.
He's going on to his fifth proof now, okay?
Yep.
Before he does it, I want to make a friendly bet, okay? I
Another one?
want to
Okay,
redeem myself. I'm going to bet 30 seconds to spend on this one. 30 seconds.
Okay, well, proof 5, looking what he's got on there already, it looks like it's basically an extension of proof 4.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to roll 25 seconds.
Fuck you.
What? You told me that's the 20% difference. That's a big difference to go for just 25 seconds
Listen,
over 30.
special pleading, okay? It's okay for me, it's not okay for you. All right? Simple
No,
as, I've learned this
come on,
trick
look,
from creationists, all right? This is how this works, okay?
You see what I've got to deal with?
Can we please just agree, no matter who wins, the hats come off, it's boiling.
Can we take them off now?
Yes, absolutely.
Had enough of that.
Let's go.
I'm sorry, that means they existed at the same time. You cannot deny that. That's another cross piece of evidence there. It's cross-examined.
Well, that's a big claim. It's going to be interesting to see how he backs that one up. Preferably under 25 seconds.
Over 30 seconds. Over 30 seconds, damn it.
They say, well, grass didn't evolve till 55 million years ago. Dinosaurs died out 65 million years ago.
Is he moving on already?
I think he has.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No way.
So dinosaurs never saw grass.
He was done.
He was done. That was 19 seconds for that proof.
The dude finishes fast.
Yes, he does. Very quickly. That doesn't always work out, but it did for me this time, because that means I'm closest again.
We've all lost, remember? Okay,
No,
you win a few battles, but that's it.
It means you've lost. Suck it up.
All right. To the claim that he put on the table, just
teetering on the edge.
It is just a claim, it's just an assertion, so we just
Yeah.
need to invoke Hitchens' razor.
Yeah.
That which is asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence.
And of course, he's just thrown in another one for our incredulity to counter. So
Absolutely.
They say, well, grass didn't evolve till 55 million years ago. Dinosaurs died out 65 million years ago. So dinosaurs never saw grass.
Alrighty, well, we've gone and had another look for the article that he's put up on screen so helpfully for us.
Yep, I'll read a quote. Quote.
Let's have a read of the quote.
Dated at 65 to 70 million years ago, the tiny crystals are about the same age as the oldest previous evidence of grass, fossil pollen found in India, South America, and North Africa.
So the dinosaurs died out approximately 65 million years ago.
Yep.
And we've already had evidence of grasses dating back to between 65 and 70 million years ago. So if the grasses are older, Matt, I don't see what the problem is here. It seems perfectly reasonable to me.
And even with the understanding just from this one claim, we still have grass within the time frame of dinosaurs.
Yeah, there's no issue there.
There's no issue.
But what they did discover
Yeah.
is that these grasses were dating back to about 100 million years ago. So
Yes.
that was outside what we previously understood.
Further, this isn't proof of dinosaurs being younger than we thought. It's to the contrary, right? It's rather another evidence of grass being a lot older than we thought.
Yeah. Matt, if you were to just read the article that you've taken as a source, you might have learned something there.
Read the article.
So your Bible's wrong when the Bible says that the behemoth eateth grass as an ox. No, the Bible is right. And we actually examined coprolites, dinosaur dung, and somehow it lasted 65 million years, guys. We found dinosaur dung. It lasted 65 million years. And guess what we found in it? Grass.
finding fossilized dung is not the same as finding a fresh turd with grass in it. They're quite different.
If you have a fresh turd, then over millions of years, each of the atoms off that turd is replaced with fossil, with sediment.
Yeah, minerals that replace it to become a fossil, yeah.
What are you left with?
Well, it's not a fresh turd. So, just to really hammer this in as well, is they didn't find grass inside the fossil, because grass is organic matter.
Yeah.
What they did find is something called a phytolith, and that's a rigid structure of silica that persists after the decay of plant material.
Yeah.
So again, different to fresh grass in a fresh poo.
The dinosaurs actually ate grass. It says, microscopic examination of the fossilized dinosaur dung from India now shows that the massive plant-eating dinosaurs munched heaping helpings of at least 5 different types of grass.
So by the way, Matt, all this actually proves is dinosaurs ate grass. Not that dinosaurs are less than 6,000 years old.
How do you look at this evidence and get the conclusion that he's getting?
Well, it's easy. You start with the conclusion.
Yes, okay, all right. Fair enough.
They're concluding all this off the fossil record, right? So they're saying, well, grass didn't exist when dinosaurs existed in the fossil record.
Matt, your conclusions have come from absolutely nothing. And, once again, they don't say that.
Read the paper.
Yeah, that.
Read it.
Precambrian rock layers are supposedly the oldest layers that there are. It's where the jellyfish that we all descended from originated. The sponge, our ancestor, the great-great-great-grandfather SpongeBob. That's really what they believe.
Is it? I mean, have you got any references of anyone saying that we're descended from sponges and not that we have a common ancestor? Right? I mean, any references that would help?
We're arguing against people that believe in literal Toon Network. That is your ancestor. Nickelodeon, SpongeBob. That's literally what we're arguing against. People say, how do you always win the debates?
No, they don't.
No. Matt,
lying is a sin.
Yeah, no one's ever said that.
Also, I have to say, right, do you remember how he was emphasizing the importance of being respectful?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
But but all this time he's just been throwing up straw men. Loads of them, actually.
Oh.
But the funny thing is like he keeps getting knocked down by this sort of straw army that he's built. So he's losing to his own straw men.
I'm arguing against people that, for lack of a better word, idiots.
Respect.
I don't mean to say that to be rude, but sometimes you have to argue with literal idiots. Precambrian is before dinosaurs existed. Well, we find bird tracks before dinosaurs even existed in the Precambrian rock layers.
No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all.
First of all, okay, those prints to me just look like dinosaur footprints, if that, and definitely not specifically bird. Second, and most importantly, Matt has again offered no references. None. Okay, so he has the Precambrian time information and prehistoric facts on screen, and then 2 images that he's talking about. They're not on the same page at all. So there's just no references. We can't look up where that's from and be able to figure out what's going on. And if we could, we'd probably get the same result as we've been getting every time we can look it up. And that is that it contradicts what he's saying, or just doesn't say what he's saying.
Well, yeah, talking about sort of contradicting what you're saying, is dinosaurs and what we call birds existed at the same time approximately 100 million years ago. Now, the modern bird evolved from meat-eating dinosaurs, and the oldest example we have of this is the Archaeopteryx. Now, if you Google Archaeopteryx, you're going to find loads of information and evidence for its existence. Well, I've just searched for Precambrian bird tracks. Do you know what I found?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. I've just looked through, only the first 4 pages. Lots of stuff about rocks. Not a lot about birds. Certainly not bird tracks either.
Yeah. Nothing.
Matt, where are you getting this from? Please give sources.
Yeah, give sources, dude. Come on.
Wait a minute. Didn't dinosaurs turn into birds? Why is it that there are bird tracks on the very bottom layers? Here's what they say. This is what Charles Lyell said about these bird tracks. Remember, this is millions of years before birds existed, supposedly. Charles Lyell said that these tracks were produced. They weren't real bird tracks. It's Native American Indians that got bored and decided to draw some tracks in the Precambrian rock layers. That's literally what they're saying.
Matt, why do you seem so amazed about the possibility that someone might carve some sort of marking into a stone?
Didn't God etch symbols into rock?
Apparently.
Gee, I guess that means that when he did it, is precisely what we're going to date the rocks to.
And how do you know that they're tracks? You know, and very specifically that they're bird tracks and not some other creature.
Yeah, now I'm going to look up this paper if I can find it. All right, it's taken some time, but I have found what paper he has on screen, at least it seems to be. It is titled Alfred King's Pennsylvanian Tetrapod Footprints from Western Pennsylvania. First of all, Ruis, okay, look. The paper immediately states that the sediments are Carboniferous, not Precambrian. So Matt is off by a few 100 million years.
Oh, not much then.
No.
No, okay.
Second, the paper states that the footprints are from a tetrapod, a four-limbed animal. Third, the paper includes many other images of markings that Matt chose not to show.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
Oh, you're saying about whether or not he intends to do things, right?
Yeah.
The others are almost certainly human created, which is why the hypothesis of them all being created is on the table. With this context, it's pretty easy to see why Lyell might reach that conclusion, right?
Yeah, so what we're saying, really, Matt, read the paper.
They're literally saying that Native Americans drew these tracks. If you believe that, you are gullible, period.
Why? What is so unreasonable about that? Why is it so difficult for you to believe that someone might, carve something into a rock?
I don't know, maybe you are gullible if you think that God carved the commandments into stone.
Maybe. Well, it must be. This might be one of the most annoying things he said, actually.
This is, yeah.
Because there's no reason for him to be this sort of incredulous about it.
You're gullible. Stop saying Christians are gullible for believing the Bible, a book written by goat herders. What's wrong with a bunch of goat herders?
What's wrong with a bunch of rock carvings?
Yes, and also, straw man, we don't say that, okay? We say that the claims of the Bible, such as, Lot's wife turning to salt or talking donkeys, okay, they and things like that are reasons to doubt whether or not the Bible is true, not because it was written by goat herders.
No,
or at least not specifically.
And in fact, I'd prefer to trust the goat herders over a banana physician.
Last I checked, that was actually a pretty good occupation back then, before electricity.
I don't care if goat herding was a good occupation back then. They are the ones claiming bats are birds. So they've got something wrong.
Do you know what goat herders are good at?
No.
Herding goats.
Oh, wow!
That's what they're good at.
So stop spewing your own confusion with yourself onto all of Christianity. We don't want it. It's the fallacy of false equivalence.
False equivalence, okay, right?
It's not.
It's not false equivalence. If you were right, it would be projecting.
That's something Matt's quite adept at, actually.
Yes.
Are chickens related to the T-Rex? This is in a kid's book.
Oh, okay, he's moving on. Okay, we're moving on.
Good.
Right.
It's for the best.
Okay, let's go.
Are chickens related to the T-Rex? This is in a kid's book.
I've just pulled that up. It's not a book. It's a website.
Yeah, that's literally what he has on screen. It's a website, not a book.
Question: are chickens related to the T-Rex? Answer: yes. Science has revealed compelling evidence that the T-Rex actually evolved into a chicken.
The next sentence, by the way, right? Let's read it.
The one that he's cut out?
Yeah, the one that he's cut out. Oh. It says, not only that, but scientists now classify modern chickens as dinosaurs.
Yeah, it's right there.
Why'd you cut it out, Matt? Why'd you cut it out? Also, what's your issue? This is just incredulity.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Just incredulity.
Folks, you know what we continuously find in the fossil record? Dinosaurs with birds in their stomachs.
Birds that weren't chickens. Also, Matt, I don't know if you're aware of this or not. Some animals eat others.
Yeah, we find mammals that have eaten mammals.
That must mean pigs can fly.
Yes, a non sequitur.
Your conclusion doesn't follow from your premises. If you don't
giving us
understand.
things to chew on, dude. Now this is just getting.
No,
this is becoming very comfort with this stuff.
But dinosaurs, wait a minute, they didn't exist with birds.
So I mentioned Archaeopteryx earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some birds at the same time as dinosaurs.
This is the stupidest thinking, or being amazed even, that mammals existed at the same time as saber-toothed tigers.
They turned into birds. No, you find dinosaurs with birds in their stomachs.
That's another incredulity point.
They didn't descend into birds, devolve into chickens. They ate them.
All right, so two things to be said here. The first is that he used the word devolve.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In evolution, things don't devolve. You just get biological change over time. It doesn't actually matter what they change into.
No, whatever the change is, that is evolving.
Yeah.
But the second one there that's really quite weird is there's this sort of weird cut where he says we have proof chickens didn't evolve from dinosaurs. But the only thing he said, or the only thing he's got on screen as proof at that moment, because we're moving on again.
Yeah.
Is a picture of granite and polonium, which is a type of radioactive metal on the screen.
Weird.
So
it's weird.
I don't get that one.
I don't think his live audience got it either, and that's why he cut it.
And we have proof for that. You bring this up to them, and they don't have a clue of what you're talking about.
Matt, you don't know the difference between an article and a book, and we have all the evidence in the world that you can't read either.
That's not true. There's no fossil evidence and you show them the actual photo, and they don't believe it.
Matt, you don't have photo evidence of a dinosaur that has eaten a chicken, because if you did, it would be on the screen.
Yes, it would.
They say, well, how can I believe in a God that I can't see? Why don't you start believing what you can see first?
Matt, you should probably stop believing literally everything you see. Like that photograph of the Civil War reenactors with the pterodactyl.
That was something else. That was a Christmas gift that was just going to keep on giving.
I'm glad I could, entertain you with that one.
Yeah. Don't believe everything you see, okay? All right. We learned this a long time ago.
Yeah.
You can be wrong.
It's called delusional if you're not going to believe what you can see.
Well, in the fossil record, we can see that birds evolved from dinosaurs.
Yep. Can also see it in genetics.
And if you believe things without evidence, you're holding to a position that's indefensible.
You're right, Matt, and you do that all the time.
This is proof that the devil himself exists. The fact that you could believe in evolution and be so deceived and so tricked is proof that Satan deceives.
Right, so he's not just going to prove that dinosaurs walked among us, okay? He's also going to prove that the devil is real. Because most people accept evolution.
Yeah, that sounds like another non sequitur.
Yes. Yes, it does. We should have done a non sequitur.
We could have done a non sequitur count.
Maybe next time.
That you have been deceived by the God of this world, which have blinded the minds of them which believe not, the Bible says. They say, you're so superstitious, you believe in the devil? You better believe I do, because he deceived you into believing pond scum to people evolution, bacteria to biologist, goo to you, the zoo to you, fish to fishermen. That's what they think. So don't come at me with, oh, it's superstitious to believe in that old book. I'm glad that it is an old book and that it's been around for a long time. You're admitting by saying it's an old book that it is historic.
It's only historic in the sense that it's old.
Like the Vedas.
Yes.
Okay. Oldest Hindu text. Dates back to 1500 BC. Very old.
So don't come at me with, oh, it's superstitious to believe in that old book. I'm glad that it is an old book and that it's been around for a long time. You're admitting by saying it's an old book that it is historic and that it is reliable.
How on earth do you get from something being old to, well, that must mean it's reliable?
Yeah.
Like a Windows 95 PC, well, it's not exactly going to be very reliable today, is it?
No, it is not.
1970s cars, well, they're famous for their reliability. Oh, wait.
No, they're not.
It's the opposite.
Yeah. By his logic, the Iliad must be extremely reliable. It's over 1,000 years older than the Bible.
Yep.
Okay. So I guess the Greek pantheon, the Greek gods, They must be real. It's really reliable, dude. It's
reliable
really
book
old.
that says
It's really
so.
old.
When they say it's an old book written a long time ago, I'm glad God didn't leave us without his word for thousands of years. Glad we have the word of God and that we've had it for a long time. You're admitting that it's been around for a long time.
We've had the words of Hinduism for way longer.
When I bring forth my Bible model.
Okay.
No.
You can stop there,
Yeah.
because I know I've stopped you from talking about it for all this time,
I'm
but
triggered.
I know that Dawkins quote up there has been annoying.
Yeah, he's got this quote on the screen, makes no reference to it himself, doesn't tell us where he's got it from, which is just the standard Matt at this point. I need to find it, okay? Okay, so, all right, I've Matt powed it, and what Google has showed us, is a bunch of creationist websites, famous for their unbiased reliability. Fortunately, the Creation Evidence Museum of Texas does provide us with a reference of where they got it from, okay? But unfortunately, it's a reference to a lecture that seemingly doesn't exist.
I know. But amusingly,
Yeah.
I do know something that Dawkins has said that potentially might be where they've taken this from.
Go on.
Yeah. Among the things that science does know,
Yeah.
evolution is about as certain as anything we do know.
Yeah, I've heard him say things like this as well. Absolutely. And I will say on this, by the way, that I personally am more certain that natural selection is true than even the Earth being a sphere. That's how much evidence there is.
Yeah.
When I bring forth my Bible model, they say it's your Bible model, ha. Yeah, I bring forth my Bible model. And they try to argue against it. They say, it's crazy, you think it rained for 40 days and 40 nights.
Reese,
Yeah.
question for you, okay, right? Is it the case that you don't think the Bible is true simply because it says that there was rain for 40 days and nights?
No,
Whoa.
there's a bit more on the side of, well, claiming that they managed to fit pairs of millions upon millions of species on a single boat. That was a bit more.
That's a bit more. Yeah, that stretches you a little bit more,
The
right?
believability sort of went out the window with that one.
I mean, the koalas getting across the world.
Sloths.
Renowned for their speed.
You Google rain for millions of years. They think it rained for 2 million years. So remember, they think rain created itself from nothing.
Okay. All right, you had a question for me, Steve.
Yep.
Well, I've got a question for you then.
We got
Do you think he's clicked any of those video links there?
no.
Seen any of the evidence?
No, I have really
No.
good reason to think that he doesn't click anything. He just gets what he
Alright.
wants it to say, and then that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll give my basic sort of low level knowledge of this. I'm sure he'll just dismiss it immediately.
Oh yeah.
We know that the Earth had a very long, dry, and hot period, and for millions of years, and this was called the Triassic period. Now, rain is formed from water vapor, so if it was very hot, that rain's not going to cool and condense and fall back to Earth. But if there was some major change in the climate and the Earth did cool down, well, then it would also take a long time, say millions of years, perhaps, for all of that water vapor that's been stuck up there to condense and fall. It's not going to happen immediately.
No.
And the evidence for both a very long, very hot period and a very long, very wet period does exist in the rock layers.
Yeah, I remember reading about this.
Reading. The key thing that Matt keeps missing out. Go read some papers. Go read Wikipedia.
Start at Wiki. Just start at Wiki. Just start somewhere.
Because Wiki as well is right. I know people, especially school teachers and stuff, tend to rag on Wikipedia. But Wikipedia has all the sources that it uses linked at the bottom. So if you follow them, you can go read the original articles, the original papers.
They don't want you copying it because it's a good source. It tends to be pretty damn good. It's just giving you a link. Use it. Go to the link.
It's a bit lazy.
It's a lazy.
It's a bit of a
way to do
lazy
it,
one, but there's stuff there.
Yeah, just do this. Not creation websites. They give references to things that don't exist.
You Google rain for millions of years. They think it rained for 2 million years. So remember, they think rain created itself from nothing with no God and rained down into the oceans.
Rain created itself from nothing.
No. No one believes that. No one claims that.
No, they did not. And as just said, rain comes from water vapor.
For 2 million years. What did the first single-celled organism eat? That's what I'd like to know.
You should probably Google the question, Matt, because there are some intriguing hypotheses. Chemosynthetic bacteria, for instance, likely metabolize sulfate and carbon monoxide, considering that they grew in shallow seas and volcanic vents.
There was no organic material.
Apart from themselves, I mean, I know you gave just a moment ago a couple of ways that they might be able to eat.
Yep.
But I'll give another one. Some species cannibalize. Now, I'm not saying that that's what these did, because I don't actually know.
No, but it's a hypothesis.
It's a hypothesis, and actually, when you're displaying this much incredulity, this is a pretty good counter to you.
Yeah, this really is just an argument from ignorance. We don't know what the first organism ate.
Yeah, and not having an answer doesn't suddenly mean that it supports creationism.
You can't just plug this stuff in with creationism, like with your religion. It's just such a lazy, It is precisely what you would not expect if there was an all-powerful, all-loving God. His creatures would not do this kind of stupid stuff.
It just came alive. What's it gonna eat? Hard rock? We find a T-Rex, right, under 50 feet of sediment that had suffocated to death when it was buried. There's no other way to explain something like that other than Noah's flood.
There's no other possible way.
No, nothing.
Argument from ignorance.
His argument is literally that a dinosaur was found buried, therefore flood, and if flood, then dinosaurs walked among us. That's two non sequiturs just in a matter of seconds.
Yep.
They don't follow. Steve, can you think of any other possible ways that a dinosaur might have gotten buried alive?
Yes. Earthquake, landslide.
Done. That's it. I don't care how many we've got. There's loads. I know there is.
Okay.
We'll be here forever. What do you mean? There's no other possible way? That's how long it takes to come up with other ideas.
Yeah, that's true. There's no other way, dude. But it must be a flood.
They say a local flood could have done it. No, false. It would have just ran away.
Oh, it's amazing. A local flood could have just done it. You didn't think about that, Steve. A local flood could have done it. That was one of the possibilities you missed.
That also means with an earthquake and a landslide, that couldn't have done it.
No, because they could have run away.
Could have run away.
They could have
run away.
Oh my God. Because obviously, Matt, people manage to run away from local floods all the time. We've never seen anyone trapped by a local flood.
Oh my goodness, dude.
Hang on. Didn't Moses kill a bunch of people when he closed the Red Sea behind him?
Why did they run away?
Why did they run away?
Just run away.
It's a local flood.
A T-Rex dinosaur simply would have ran away. It had to have been globally catastrophic. That's why we find 10,000 adult Maiasaur buried in the center of the United States.
He saved his best argument for last. There are dinosaurs buried in the United States.
Go on.
That had left their young behind. They say, why are you bringing up the same tired old arguments that creationists always have used since the 1980s?
Really? Was that it? Was that all he had?
That can't...
That was his proof?
No, that can't be. He has to have more. Do not fail me on this one, Matt. You have to have more.
I've seen lack of evidence before.
Have more. Have more.
Well, because they're right. The truth stays the truth. They say, well, what if you're wrong?
That really was everything.
That was it.
Under 9 seconds for a proof, whereas in those 9 seconds, all he actually said was, there are dinosaurs in the USA.
How is that proof? What? I don't actually know what that's his reasoning. Let alone references and evidence.
That is a new record for a total lack of evidence. I've never seen so little presented as a... Remember, this is a proof. This isn't just evidence for something. This is meant to be overwhelming evidence that proves something.
Yeah. And by comparison, okay, I can prove that the Earth is not a sphere. It's actually flat. Do you want to know how?
You've just done it.
No.
Oh.
No, you're in for a treat, okay? Here's my proof. There's dinosaurs buried in the USA.
I know I'm not wrong, because 2 + 2 is 4. It will always be 4.
Oh my God.
Yeah, 2 + 2 is a logical statement in an analytical framework.
Yeah, and it, by the way, 2 + 2 = 4 does not prove that Jesus walked with dinosaurs.
No, it does not. I think this is the most I've just seen him in like a preachy mode, right? Where he's just not got any concern at all for truth, any concern for actually being an effective communicator. Like this is some Ray Comfort kind of stuff happening right now.
Yeah, we've had a lot of rambling.
This is genuinely worse than Frank Turek. Genuinely worse.
The facts will always be the facts. Again, these are the fundamentals of young Earth creationism. When I was in college, I played college basketball. And my coach always told me that if you master the fundamentals, you'll be a great player. And if you're a creationist and you want to get in the middle of this fight, just master the fundamentals and you will win every time.
Matt, you haven't mastered shit. Except maybe on how to straw man.
Yeah, Matt Powell, PhD in strawmanology. Well then, folks, that's the end of the video. Before we wrap up, let's get a tally on the strawman and incredulity.
Yes. Okay? Not bad for a 10-minute video.
It's deteriorated worse. Just saying, okay, all right? And now that we've watched this video from Matt Powell, featuring Matt Powell, has his lethal video proving that dinosaurs live recently convinced you?
Wow. Oh, well, his evidence was undeniable. I'd have to be a gullible fool to continue believing that dinosaur bones are millions of years old.
Super gullible.
I guess I'm a gullible fool then.
Yeah.
What about you then, mate?
Oh, I'm totally convinced by Matt.
I'm totally convinced.
No.
Oh.
No, I am not. Okay. Now, Reese, it's Christmas. What gift would you give to Matt if you could give any? Because mine, all right, okay, I would give him a nice tall glass of read the fucking paper.
It's funny, actually, I was already thinking along the same sort of lines, because I'd give him literally any of the papers that he cited in his video, but clearly not read.
Yeah.
Or maybe, actually, a computer with access to Google.
Yeah. Fair enough. That would do it. Okay, so gonna wrap up, all right? You can expect a LowFruit episode every single month, which is great. And as always, thank you kindly for the view, and an extra special thank you to my wonderful patrons and YouTube members. Without you, I wouldn't be able to make content like this. We wouldn't be able to make content like this. No. And on top of that, I wouldn't be able to make the academic stuff. So thank you very much for your support. Lastly, if you want to find Reese, you can find him on his own channel called Castles and Curiosities.
Yeah, please do come check it out.
Some great videos on there, and he has an absolute doozy coming out real soon. Before Christmas, potentially?
Hoping to get it out before Christmas. Most likely, certainly before the end of the year.
That'd be wonderful. All right. Catch you later.
Have a good holiday. See you in the new year.
Yeah, and remember that this happened.
I believe if we study history, the Confederates were able to shoot pterodactyls, back in the Civil War, and they spread these things out. Anybody can look it up online.